Today, we're talking about aligning sales and marketing together to produce revenue. And I don't care what role you're in at a company, you can be in ops, you can be the shipping receiving person, you could be sales, marketing, leadership, etc. You are a cog in the wheel that makes that company turn. And what makes that company turn is revenue, because that's what pays everybody's salary. That's what pays for growth, raises, promotions, new buildings, new features, new everything. And so everybody needs to be thinking about revenue, and it shouldn't just fall on sales and it shouldn't just fall on marketing. But so many times those two departments are misaligned or miscommunicated, misjudged, misinterpreted. And the reason why is that they're so singular focused maybe on their KPIs and goals of like, this is what I need to do, without thinking about the other half of it. Can salespeople just go out and sell without marketing? Yes, they can, to a certain extent. Marketing's job is to make sales jobs easier. So if we look at a salesperson, you're either talking to existing people in the system, leads, interested parties, contacts you've been reaching out to, or you're going out and hunting for completely brand new business. Regardless of those two things, the marketing team can help with that. And sometimes, if marketing is really well, the salespeople don't have to go do as much cold hunting. They are just accepting the stuff coming in from marketing and then pushing out and trying to close those leads, convert those leads, and then close them into new business. Today, what I want to focus on is like, what is the goal of those two departments and how do we get them aligned together? So let's look at first the independent departments. So marketing's job typically is to generate leads. The leads then go over to the salesperson converts them. There has to be, in general, a goal of revenue. So going back to what I said, revenue turns everything. Everybody here impacts revenue at any company, either positively or negatively. And so you have to make sure that they're aligned on what is the goal. Marketing should know the sales team's goal. They should know the revenue goal. If you're a $20 million a year company or a $200 million a year company, whatever the sales team has set as goals should not just be that team's goals. It should be the company's goals. And how can I impact those company goals? So if they're trying to increase by 10%, what am I going to do? And what do I need to do on my department to help impact that number? It's not just, I bring in leads, man, and then salespeople's job is to convert them and close them. And they have to hit that 10%, 15%, whatever the percentage is, number to increase the overall company revenue. But first steps first, you have to align on goals. There's so many times in the past, customers we talk to marketing, and we're like, hey, dude, what's the revenue goal for this year? And they're like, I don't know. That's not, I just focus on this area. They have to know. Like, if you're in marketing, you have to know what the company's revenue goals are, because you are maybe not directly accountable for it, because that's the salespeople's goals. Like, take all the salespeople, add up their goals that they have. That's going to equal the company's total revenue for the year. Even if you say these are house accounts, so house accounts makes up, let's just say, $10 million in business. The salespeople's new goal is like that. You're going to get 10 already from house accounts because it's repeat business, but the sales team goal of 5 people is another $10 million. Okay. Each person's got $2 million across 5 people. Everybody's got their nugget that they're trying to go after. But the marketing person should know, hey, we're at 10 million. Our goal for this year is 20 million. It's going to come from these different areas. These are the salespeople's goals, et cetera, et cetera. Step 1, align on revenue goals. Step 2 is, how do we break down those goals into who's accountable for what and what is the deciding factor on the success of that goal. So salespeople are going to be accountable for creating deals, closing deals, winning business. You as a marketing person, you have to look at it and say, how many leads do I have to bring the team a week, a month, to then make sure that I'm filling in that pipeline of theirs while they're hunting out on their own. And so that's going to be dependent on every single company. Maybe it's 20 leads a week because I got 5 salespeople and each salesperson needs 4 new leads to go after. And eventually, as you build up this snowball and pushing it down the hill, after week after week after week of hitting 4 leads per salesperson, then you're going to be able to say, hey, you got a pretty big pipeline now. So number 1, you have to set how many leads per week does the sales team need? That's a marketing goal. Sales is going to have their own goals of how many conversations to have, how many outbound attempts, how many touches, cold visits, cold calls, cold emails, all that stuff. They should have their own goal of activity, because if based on activity, that's going to feed into the performance and the output. So input equals output. So the salespeople, you need to have an activity goal. What is your goal for the week? How many touches? One of our clients that we help out with a lot of the recruiting for their sales team, Theirs is 250 touches a week. I could do 250 touches a week if it was my only sales job in like a day and a half through email, phone, cold visit, etc. 250 in a day and a half. So across a whole week, that's an easy number. And some of you may be like, dude, that's so difficult based on what I sell. Okay, yeah, maybe it is for your situation. But in general, 250 touch points a week is pretty achievable in almost any industry, especially in B2B, especially with technology these days. So they've got their goal of 250. You've got a goal of 4 leads per salesperson, so 20 leads a week. You have to make sure that step 3 is we all agree on the revenue. We agree on some of the KPIs, which is going to be like leads and etc. But then step 3 is, are those leads converting? And that's where there's a lot of disconnect. Marketing's working over here in one office and they're like, yeah, we're getting leads. And sales is in the other office being like, dude, your leads suck. They're all disqualified. That's the worst thing a marketer could hear is like, your leads suck. So not only do you have to have exposure in the CRM to be able to say, are these leads qualified? And can I see if these leads are qualified? But you have to be able to say, here's the leads I brought in. Here's how many are qualified. Here's the conversion rate to qualified. And then from there, the salesperson can say, okay, you gave me 10 leads. I converted 5 and qualified 5. So I've got a 50% conversion rate based on the leads that you have. And then from there, I quoted 4 of them. And then from there, I closed 1 of them. So once you have that math, which you should already have if you've been a business standing for more than, let's just say 3 months, you should have the data to be able to say, here's our current conversion percentage from a lead to a sales qualified lead. And then from there, your sales team should be able to say, here's my conversion percentage from a sales qualified lead to a deal or opportunity. So I'm going to price them out and quote them. And then from there, what's your close percentage? So like the sales team has to know those numbers and the marketing team has to be able to say, these are leads I brought in, qualified, disqualified, converted to deal, still left out outstanding. So that's the highest level. Then when marketing, you have to break it down even further. Where did those leads come from? This came from organic. This came from AI leads, referrals. This came from paid. This came from social. What are those percentages? All right, social's given us 2 leads a week on average for the last 12 months. How many of those leads converted into a sales qualified lead? Oh, none of them. Okay, cool. Maybe you should spend less time on social and push it out as a strategy because even though you're getting leads, it's the wrong type of leads. Could you change messaging, branding, content, etc., to try and get those qualified leads? Yes. You have to be communicating to each other. And this is something I've talked about for over a decade is sales and marketing have to be focusing on the same goal. They have to be communicating. You have to have KPIs. They should know yours. You should know theirs. You have to know how you're going to impact their KPI. The sales team has to know, hey, I'm going to be doing these things, but marketing from you, I need you to do these things for me. I need you to try and bring me like 2 leads a week. That's it. If you can bring me 2 solid leads a week, then we're good. And marketing's like, cool, I'm going to bring you 2 solid leads a week. But if they don't know if they converted, then how can you possibly say what's working and what isn't? And it's a key differentiator. You have to look at the data. Now, putting it all in a system, CRM system, doesn't matter really what you use. Like HubSpot, is it the best for scalability for businesses that we deal with, etc.? Yes, because you could do everything in one house. HubSpot and Salesforce together, that's a great duo. We've got lots of clients that do that. Does not matter though. It doesn't matter if you use Pipedrive or Zoho or HubSpot or Salesforce. None of those things really matter as long as you're tracking the data. That's what matters the most. The system or the platform is going to be more efficient based on the capabilities it has on how fast you can find that information and how fast you can react to it. That's really the difference between a HubSpot and a Zoho. Zoho is disjointed. None of the systems really talk to each other. They're all separate things, and it really doesn't give you a clear picture, and it really can't do additional actions other than what the platform is meant to be. And that's just why, in general, I think the HubSpot is the best. But you got to have a centralized location so you can see that information. We have clients where they sell through distributors. Okay, cool. You sell through distributors. I can't successfully do marketing for you if I can't see the leads that are brought in, the interested parties that are brought in, did they convert into a deal or not? And that's where, fortunately for us, the clients that we have that have distributors, for the most part, most of our clients that have distributors as a sales channel, they can see that information. But without it, you'd be flying blind. If I'm like, yeah, dude, we generated 100 leads last month for distributors. Cool. How many of them converted? I have no idea, but they're happy. All right. But I want to be the best. If you want to be the best, you have to be able to say, out of those 100, 22 of them converted and the rest were garbage. Okay, I got to look back at where do those leads come from? And so really aligning the input of activity, hand off to the sales team their activity, and then the output is close one business. If there's not complete alignment there, communication frequently, and just an understanding that like we got to scratch each other's back here, then they're never going to possibly work out. And it doesn't have to be finger pointing, which is usually what happen could happen a lot. I don't want to say usually, it could happen a lot. Finger pointing from sales to marketing, be like, you guys suck, what you're giving me sucks. Marketing being like, dude, you guys just suck at closing. But we have to look at the whole ecosystem. Like every single aspect does impact building trust, generating leads, and closing deals. Like every aspect of your marketing. If your website's great, but all your other channels suck, people aren't going to build trust as much. Or if your channels are great, email, phone call, meeting with people, social is good, but then they go to the website and it sucks, it's not going to convert. So you got to go through some CRO or click rate optimization on the journey once they get to the site. So using the CRM system as a source of truth, and I'm saying everything in this CRM system, again, it doesn't matter which one it is, everything in this is a source of truth. I can track everything back to the first contact point. I can track all of my trade shows, all of my social activity, all of my LLMs, all of my website traffic, everything in one centralized location. Then from there, I can make some pretty good decisions. So going back to what I started with is every decision is based off of data. Then there's like no arguing it. If I showed you a chart that showed that you get out of your leads, you get 25% organic from organic traffic. So let's just say Google search, Bing, Yahoo, etc. 25% of your leads come from that, and 25% come from some sort of LLM. And out of those two buckets, which equal half of your leads monthly, quarterly, annually, the ones coming from LLMs have a higher conversion percentage from a lead to a sales qualified lead, and most importantly, to a close one deal. Then nobody in the room can argue that it probably makes sense for us to focus on how do we get more of those leads. People can argue saying like, once you get into LLM, that's a more informed buyer and they're ready to go, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, that could be true. Could be. That's what people say. I don't have data to support it for myself, so I can't 100% agree with it. But if the data shows it, nobody can argue. If we tried to do something on like Luke's got an idea and he's like, dude, you know what we should do? We should post a LinkedIn company page every day, like a picture of a dog and a dog in a different location. And I'm like, all right, dude, let's do it. And then he does that. And over 2 months, our impressions drop and our leads drop. Like, I'm gonna be like, hey, that was a great idea, but apparently it didn't work. So we should probably change it. And I say that jokingly, just like anything with social, whether quantity of videos, types of text, types of images, anything you're doing on the phone, the way that you place your phone calls, the way that you have your phone calls, your voicemails that you leave, outbound email marketing, the frequency, the number, where did you get the list from? Is it clean? Is there deliverability? What's the email service providers that you're sending it to? All of that information across all channels is going to then impact the success, and the data will tell you what's working and what isn't. So you have to make sure, and I've said it in so many videos, you have to make sure you're tracking the data and then just use that data to make decisions. Now, you can't say with a limited amount of data, you can't be like, this doesn't work at all. It's just this way of doing it didn't work. So like, I would agree with people and say cold emails work, paid media works, paid social works, organic social works, organic search, LLMs, AEO, all that stuff works. Cold calls work. Everything works. Snail mail, billboards, going to trade shows, all those things work to a certain degree, but how you are working it maybe needs an adjustment. And marketing doesn't know that solely if sales doesn't tell them, hey, these leads that you gave me, like sales doesn't have to know where they came from. They don't have to know like, oh, that's social leads. I mean, they should have access to the information, but they should be able to say, hey, that was good, that was bad. Now, on the flip side of it, the way that we do things here with a lot of our clients is we bring in leads and the sales team gets added into the system and they're in the CRM. And maybe the salespeople are busy traveling, trade show, et cetera, and they don't follow up with those leads fast enough. Well, our team here, depending on who's on the account and what services we're doing, we will go into that on every single day, every morning, look at who didn't follow up with their leads or reach out to leads that were brought in new yesterday and who hasn't followed up with leads from 2 days ago. And we comment and put a note on that contact record to remind the person that you need to reach out to this. And a lot of times it's like, oh no, I did, but I didn't log it. Okay, well, again, going back to what I just said, CRM is a source of truth. And if the source of truth is saying you didn't follow up with them, then you didn't follow up. It doesn't matter what you say, it's not in the system. So you got to put that information in there to make the entire machine operate. And what it does, it creates this like feedback loop of like, marketing does these efforts, sales is in agreement with the efforts and the channels and who we're going after and the revenue goals. Sales team talks to them. It's either good or bad and just creates that circle back. Hey, marketing, this is what was bad this week, this day, this month. Marketing's like, cool, thanks for letting me know. But with the systems these days, you don't have to like really even conversate that. You just check a box and say unqualified. What's the unqualified reason? This reason. Timing, cost, industry fit, capabilities that we have, service location, needs, etc. Whatever the reason is that it's unqualified, as long as you list that, marketing's like, cool, I got all the information. It's constantly feeding back through and I know what's going on. You've got to make sure that you have a defined revenue goal. Let's just recap the points. You have a defined revenue goal that we all agree we're working towards and everybody knows what the goal is. There's no hiding. You make sure that the handoff between marketing and sales is good. So the process, the system that you're using, the way that you get the information over there, are they seeing it? It was just like marketing's like, hey dude, I sent you the team the leads, but it's not my fault they don't follow with them. No, you're not accountable for their follow-up. The sales manager is and the person is, but you're accountable to generate revenue if you're in marketing. And if you're accountable to generate revenue and you brought in leads and nobody did anything with it, then at the end of the day, it's going to fall back on everybody. So just making sure that that stuff gets done. So you've got that handoff that's good. You got the follow-up there that's good. You got the feedback loop that's like taking the information, they update it, comes back to you. And lastly, but certainly not least, you got a centralized system for everything, regardless of what it is. I don't care. Make it yourself. Use AI to make your own CRM system if that's what you want to do. As long as you're capturing the information and the feedback loop is there, the handoff is good, and we all agree on the goals, then that is what's going to make it successful. And going back to one of the things I said in the beginning is that everybody at every single company impacts revenue in some way, either good, bad, or indifferent. Either you're increasing it, you're decreasing it, or you're stagnant with it, but everybody can impact it, whether it's the things that you do. I don't care if you're the shipping and receiving person, there's ways to save money. There's ways to increase money. There's ways to provide a better customer experience. So that person that receives the packages is like, oh my God, I've got brand loyalty now because of how this was packed. I'm going to buy more stuff. They may not see it, but everybody can impact the revenue. We just got to make sure that all those things are aligned. So if you guys like this content, be sure to head over to YouTube and subscribe, turn on notifications, follow me on LinkedIn. If you're watching this on replay and you're like, dude, I have a question, put them in the comment section and we will get back to you ASAP. We go live pretty frequently, so make sure you pay attention to the platforms and accept those invites if they get sent over to you. And if you guys want to have a deeper conversation about your goals, issues you're having, etc., we're already through the first half of 2026. Where are you at with your goals, your company goals, and what are you going to try and do for the next 4 to 6 months to get there? If you want to have a conversation with it, then just reach out. Go to our website, milanmedia.com, and contact us, and we'll jump on a call. And I'll at least give you a strategy of like, hey, here's what I would do in your situation. Can we help, or can we help you, or can't we? And if it's like, oh yeah, we shouldn't help you because you only need a couple things, I'll give you the playbook on how to get there and then implement it and see if it actually works. So I appreciate everybody joining live. If you're watching this on replay, don't be shy, and I'll see you on the next one.